pretty fish right there. Hey, give a little kiss, Simba. There you go. Go, baby. All right, what you saw in the last episode, or maybe you're gonna see it in the future, not really sure when that one's gonna come out, but what Lucas and I did first thing this morning is we were running to the shoreline in Pontchartrain to pop some corks. We're popping a matrix float, but we ran into several flocks of birds with bull reds under them. That was a lot of fun. Now we get over here. I've been throwing the top water a lot this morning with this overcast. Had a few smacks, but Lucas is just killing me with the matrix float, and I finally quit being hard-headed, switched to it, catching some nice trout with that. We're getting a few throwbacks too, but for the most part, these fish are really nice. Lucas has had a really good morning popping that cork and catching some really nice trout on this grassy shoreline. We got a little bit of vegetation under the water, crystal clear water, and we're just drifting down this bank, throwing away from the shoreline, catching some nice trout. There's another good one right there, baby. Get on up in here. Get on up. Oh, I missed him right at the boat. That's all right, that's all right. But when we want to fish, a little tangle here. When we fish these shorelines, I highly recommend doing this in the months of March, April, May. That's good when these Pontchartrain shorelines get active, and right now we're fishing it in that October, November time frame. March, April, May, you'll see a little bit more mullets. You can kind of raft in the shorelines. This time of year, you got shrimp that are just, you know, making their way up and down the banks here. And that's what those birds were on this morning that the redfish were on. Calm down, pups, I'm trying to talk. And good time of the year. You want to, so over here right now we're fishing the eastern shoreline of Pontchartrain. Doesn't really matter what shoreline too much that you really want to focus on. I highly recommend, if you're going to pick an area on a shoreline, to pick an area that's got some bayous coming out somewhere near there, and just some differences in the shoreline, maybe some cutouts, or you don't want to be on like the straightest part of a bank and there's no like creeks or bayous coming out. And you want to fish each particular shoreline where on days where it's relatively leeward from the wind, meaning eastern shorelines of a lake or bay on an east wind, or northern shorelines on a north wind, southern shorelines on a south wind, and that way you stay protected. The last thing you want to do is be fishing a shoreline on the south end of the lake when you have a 10 to 15 mile an hour north wind, because you're going to be fishing in 2 to 3 foot chop, and that's just going to, A, it's most probably going to dirty up the water, and B, it's just going to be very uncomfortable for you. So like right now we have about a 12 mile an hour northeast wind coming right over the bank here, right over our heads. We're being able to cast with the wind, makes it very easy. I like to typically get up on the bank and throw out away from it. And this is just the most effective way to do it. And especially, you know, when we're using these matrix float popping corks like we are right now.
There we are.
Come on up here, baby. Get your little kiss, Simba. There you go. Another one that's gonna make the team.
Go on.
Oh, specky trout. What you got there, Simba? Yeah, give him a little kiss. Yeah, give him a little kiss, Simba, buddy. This one's close. Go ahead and let him go. Now, when you're popping corks, the reason I love to come fish some shorelines in Pontchartrain using that matrix float. When we came out the marina today, there was a gazillion boats in a launch. What that usually tells me is there's a gazillion boats on the bridges or the hospital wall or other popular areas. So I like to come to these secluded shorelines, and there's plenty of them in Pontchartrain, Lake Catherine, Bourne, whatever. Just shoreline fishing in general is very effective. This isn't even really that great of a shoreline. I just knew there wasn't going to be any boats over here. We're fishing on a Friday. I like to just try random stuff when we get closer to the weekends. And every once in a while we'll run across a home run fishing something like this, like a shoreline or whatnot. But what we do is we try to get the wind to our back. I'm using that Matrix silky string right here, which is kind of like a line that we use for crappie fishing. It's real thin, but it's good for corks and small trout because you can cast it a country mile. And I just get that cork way out there. A lot of times the trout aren't going to be close to the bank, really. They're more off the bank, to where if you throw closer to the shoreline, that's where you have a better chance for catching redfish. And when we're doing this in the fall, you always want to keep your eyes peeled for birds working well off the shoreline, as we saw plenty of that this morning and played with the redfish this morning. There he is. That's a pretty decent one. That's the size that I like. That's the size that I like. Whoa, Simba. NMR, they call that. No measurement required. Beautiful speckled trout. Using that Matrix float. Got it pretty deep there. Got a pretty fish right there. That's how you do it, though. Big long casts. I recommend braid. You want to try our Matrix silky string. It's a little light, so make sure you just catch a trout. It is definitely not built for reds. Bomb cast that cork out there. Pop, pop, pause. Pop, pop, pause. That'll get the job done. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Dockside TV. We caught reds early in the morning. We shot a different video. Came over here to a nice secluded shoreline. Hadn't seen a boat all day. Catching speckled trout under a cork, having a great time in gin clear water. Make sure to watch all of our cork episodes, Dockside TV. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Matrix bait box. You'll be getting some of these Matrix floats in there. Come out here and get away from the boats. Get on a shoreline out here in the Pontchartrain Basin. Get on some nice specks like this one right here.